Hey, this is Russell, and I work at the video store, the place that we can go to every week when it's movie night. On days like today, when the store is quiet, I get to chat to my friends about the films and the series that we're loving. All right, let's do it. Let's open up the shop.
Did you see that thing yesterday on the TV? It was ready, interesting!
How's it?
Good morning.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Yeah, fine.
Very good.
Cold?
Yeah.
It's getting a little chilly.
It is. It's getting nippy.
I like it.
Yeah, I love winter.
The beanies come out for Cole.
Yeah, it's beanie season. Get to have a warm head.
Especially if you don't have the hair to keep it warm.
Exactly, dude. I don't know what it's like.
Welcome to the video store. Thank you for wandering in to our lovely video store. We've got ourselves a Cole Matthews here today.
Howdy.
He is a creative copywriter, video copywriter. We're not working here at the video store. We've got ourselves a Marigold.
Hello.
It's nice to have you. We don't always get you, so when we do, it's a real treat. Marigold, you are an artist, a tattoo artist, amongst many things. Mm-hmm. And you used to work at the Bioscope.
Yes.
So you know all about this place because my name is Russell. I am the owner of the Bioscope, which is an independent cinema here in Johannesburg. And once a week we get together to work a shift behind the counter of our lovely video store. And we're here to help you figure out what you can watch and talk about the films and the series that we're loving. Sorry we didn't give you an episode on Tuesday. I was in the bush. I was on holiday.
Check this guy.
No, it was lovely. But it was also just a very busy week at the Bioscope, so there wasn't enough time. So now we're recording one, and it's lovely to check in. Should we start with our little Hey Did You Guys See? This is our quick round of entertainment news, and it's a lovely way to catch up and see what happened in the last week. Before we get into that, let's just talk about generally what we'll talk about. We all went to Sinners last week.
Sinners went to Sinners.
Oh. Which is lovely. The good people of Sun Africa Group gave us a bunch of tickets to give away. So we gave away to a whole bunch of listeners and friends and listeners, the same thing. And so it was lovely to host them. It was lovely to watch it on IMAX. And we'll talk about that. Is there other big TV shows and things we want to talk about?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay, cool. All right, so we'll get into that. But first, let's do a little Hey Did You Guys See? Do you want to kick us off, Kolski?
I'll kick us off. So, hey, did you guys see that two of our favorite customers from the video store have been cast in Showtime Management's 2025 production of Chicago?
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Who are the people?
So, Jonathan Rocksmith as
Hey.
Billy Flynn.
Okay.
Yeah, so Richard Gere from the movie, for those
Okay,
who
I was
don't
about
know.
to say. Okay. So this is Chicago. This is the famous musical Chicago.
Yes. And Karuna Lindeva as Roxy Hart,
Lovely.
which is
That's
so
cool.
cool.
Roxy Hart is the
Renee Zellweger.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's we shouldn't be imagining the movie characters in our head because of course it lives past that, right?
Yeah.
It's a famous
Yes.
Broadway musical. But yeah,
That's our point of reference.
it's unfortunately what we have. But yeah. Do we have any idea when that starts?
Yes, we do. I don't have it in front of me, but they've definitely announced it. It's at the Artscape in Cape Town from the 27th of August to the 28th of September. And at the Teatro, Luca de Bellis would be happy to hear how I pronounce that, at Monts Casino from the 3rd of October to the 9th of November. So it's a ways away.
October. Okay, but people must start buying their tickets because these things do
absolutely.
sell out.
I think in the meantime, we're going to get Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was in that.
Were you?
Yeah, were you in it as well?
In primary school, I was one of the brothers,
Oh, I was one of the brothers in high school.
and I've got a feeling one of the brothers' names was Gad,
Yeah, it was.
who's one of our workers here at the video store. Who were you in the?
I can't remember the names. There was God and dun, 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 dun.
And
I
there's
used to know that all off by heart. What about the colors
all
sequence?
the colors. Yeah.
And you had to name them all in order in the right way.
Purple
There
and-
was red and yellow
Yellow
and,
and
blue,
purple and green and
scarlet and or something.
then there's some weird colors. Yeah, shit. No, it's lost.
No,
Lost
it's-
on me.
It's nuts. I used to know that off by heart, like the back of my hand.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But you watched Dear Evan Hansen recently, hey?
Yes, at
Okay.
the Teatro.
Yeah, it's we're getting some good stuff.
No, we're getting amazing stuff, and it's surprising that they went for something that hasn't proved itself locally.
Yeah.
Because I think that circle of producers in our local industry tend to go with what works,
Yeah.
and we get a lot of repeats. Like we get
Yeah.
Phantom, we get Cats, we get Chicago, we get The Sound of Music, Evita,
Mm.
and it's kind of like, okay, cool. Now there's new musicals that are really good, like Wicked and Dear Evan Hansen, that blew up on Broadway like 10 years ago. And now finally they're like, okay, cool, let's bring them here to South Africa. It's like there's a 15-year delay
Yeah.
in getting them here, but it was, as usual,
And it's a
our
chance for,
talent is like world class.
yeah, it's a chance for the local guys to step up and do it, which is great. Okay. Hey, did you guys see the trailer for Murderbot on Apple TV Plus?
No.
It looks really interesting. It's got one of the Sarsgaards. This is Alexander Sarsgaard.
Okay.
And-
What was he in? Was he the Northman?
He was Northman, and he was in True Lies, the Reese Witherspoon one.
Okay, cool.
Pretty Little Liars.
Pretty Little
I
Lies.
love Pretty
Marigold.
Little
No,
Lies.
no,
no,
no.
not Pretty Little Lies. It's called what is it called?
Ah, fuck's sake.
It's called
Where the person dies and they're
Liars. Something Liars.
Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies.
This
Think
is so funny. I'll Google it while you guys are figuring it out.
he was Nicole Kidman's abusive
Yeah,
husband in that.
he was horrible.
He
in
was
it.
he wasn't a good guy.
Yeah.
Murderbot is in the far future, and he is a robot that is designed to like protect you. So he's like a sort of bodyguard robot, but he kind of becomes sentient. He becomes rogue. And it looks quite funny. It looks quite fun. He calls himself Murderbot,
Yeah.
and it looks quite playful. I think it'll be interesting. It's a nice little commentary on AI and where robots will go, but it looks fun.
Oh,
And I
cool.
just think it'll be a cool TV show.
Right.
It is Big Little Lies.
Big
Big
Little
Little-
Lies.
They're both big and little.
we knew it was lies, so that's
Yeah, that's all that
good.
counts. You guys both knew what you were talking
Exactly.
about.
Yeah,
Same.
yeah.
Hey, did you guys see either the teaser or the trailer for the new Final Destination?
We watched
saw
it.
that
It
at
was
The
a
the
little
last France.
little sneak peek.
That was
there.
heckies.
I am so excited.
Do you
I'm
like
so
those movies?
I love Final Destination. I love it.
Why do you like it?
It's very nostalgic because I wasn't allowed to watch Final Destination. I used to like sneak around with my cousin and watch all of them.
Okay.
Oh,
And they-
that's where we were all given generational trauma from that fucking
Yeah,
highway sequence with the logs.
Mhm.
With the logs, yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to say, no one our age can drive behind a log
Truck.
No.
truck.
Yeah.
Or
and
even if you see like
things the same way.
steel pipes or whatever.
Yes.
Anything
Or like
that's
someone
like
lifting glass panes
Oh,
into
man.
skyscrapers. No ways.
But I think horror works when it taps into something
yeah.
really like truthful, and I think there's something interesting about this idea of our destiny and the fact that we were destined to go a certain path. If you fuck with that path, the world
Yes.
needs to like correct itself. There's quite a cool idea behind it, as
It's
opposed
fun.
to just, hey, here's a deranged guy and he's chasing you in the woods.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very fun.
So
Which was the best one, do you think?
I loved the roller coaster one. Is that 3?
I think that's 3.
Yeah, I love that one. But
was
I think it's
messed
also
up.
because I was so obsessed with Gold Reef City as well. So then it was
Okay.
like
So it's the thrill.
it's like
eh?
oh
what happened there? Do the sort of nuts slowly
Yeah.
become
Yeah.
undone? And,
I hope like a lot of the kills aren't too Rube Goldberg machine-y, because then that kind of, I don't know, it needs
Too
to
what?
be an accident. So like a Rube Goldberg machine.
what is that?
It's like when a ball rolls and then it knocks something and then it hits
okay.
something else.
Yeah.
Because then it starts to become this thing where you anticipate it.
yeah,
As opposed to
totally.
like the log
Yeah.
thing or the elevator sequence
yeah.
where the head got stuck in the elevator doors. It's like stuff that's so close to home where you're just like, fuck.
We're also going to get a I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot
Oh.
Yes.
of sorts later this year.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how these horror films come back.
Yeah.
And some just live on. Like I think Scream has successfully lived on
Yes.
as a franchise. I did stop watching, but I know that it's done well.
Apparently the latest ones are really good because
Yeah.
it works on modern tropes in comedy and commentary
Okay.
because it's all a riff on like horror movies.
Yeah.
You know,
And they're
So it
kind of riffing
changes
on
with the
themselves.
times. Yeah.
Which is quite interesting. Okay. Hey, did you guys see the Pope died?
Yes.
Oh yes, a day after he met JD Vance.
Yes.
Yeah.
People
Just
are going
hilarious.
wild.
It
People are
was
going
like,
wild.
I don't want to live anymore after meeting him.
It's like, no, now's the time to check out.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, but regardless, like hectic events.
What happened? Just sick? Because
Yeah,
he had that.
lung problem.
Yeah.
He had like pneumonia in both lungs or something.
Do we know when Conclave is going to be available on any platform?
I'm sure they're going to make it available pretty soon.
Okay.
They're
'cause
going to get it out.
Conclave would be a good one to watch now, which is the Oscar film from earlier this year, Ray Fiennes, where they all have to now vote on a new pope because the pope dies.
I saw someone make a meme that Jonathan Pryce has to play the Pope because let's look at this little photo.
So how
my
similar
God. They look the
so
same.
similar.
For anyone who doesn't know, Jonathan
Yeah.
Pryce, you'll know him as Elizabeth Swann's dad from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
He was also the shame guy in Game of Thrones. He was the
Oh, yes.
feathers or little feather or little something.
Yeah,
little
the
finger
cult
or
leader.
Some shit. Anyone got other ones?
Did you see the trailer? Hey, sorry. Did you guys see the trailer for The Roses?
Oh,
Yes.
that's like yes.
The romantic comedy with Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman,
Yeah.
Okay.
where it's about the slow but really fucking hectic erosion of their marriage
Yeah.
into like mutual disdain and like violence.
Okay, hectic.
Where it starts to get hectic, and the jokes and the burns in this trailer were just so funny. It looks like
It looks wild.
it looks crazy.
To me, Benedict Cumberbatch has been played younger, and she's always played a lot older. Like
Yes.
she's always been sort of put as more of the sort of older maternal.
Yes,
So their ages don't quite feel the same. But
yeah,
I think
it's like the
that's
impression that you get from the films that they've been.
so
cast
when
in.
they put together, you realize like Hollywood often fucks with you and your idea of time.
He's 2
Yeah.
years younger than her.
Wild.
Crazy.
But
Yeah.
in our head, when I first saw them being paired, I was like, she feels a lot older.
yeah.
Yeah, it's because
That's
of-
why Hollywood often does that, where
Yes.
they, in Top Gun Maverick, it's like, oh, we can't have Kelly McGillis anymore. Like, let's get a younger
because she's a woman, but we can have old Tom Cruise.
But
That's
we
how
can
it
have
works.
old Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the world we live in.
What was when you talk about the world we live in? What was that? That Ben Stiller comment that you saw that you were telling me about?
Yes. So did you guys see that? I'll actually try to find or hunt down the headline right now. Sorry, I've got an app that's telling me to get off Instagram, which I should. But
An app telling you to get off.
yes, it's like you've spent this amount of time on Instagram. Do you
I
want
get
to
it
stay?
for YouTube.
Oh right,
Yeah.
that's your vice.
That's interesting. Do you set that up and you tell it how much you want to
No,
watch?
it only gives you options. So you select when you open the app, it gives you a 1 minute, 5 minute, or 15 minutes option to select.
Okay.
And you say, cool, I'm going to intentionally spend 5 minutes on this. And then after 5 minutes, it's like, hey, your 5 minutes are up, get out of here.
What's-
Do you get yours to lock you out?
I do have an app to do that. It's
Because
a
the
different
trick
app.
is to get someone else to do the password
yeah.
or the passcode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can turn it off yourself.
Exactly.
It's
That's
so
what I
crazy.
find
It's
with
like a
YouTube.
drug.
It is
I will
totally.
get into it.
Totally.
It's dreadful. So, Sinners is crushing it at the box office.
amazing. It's
It
doing
is
amazing.
crushing it. I think it's. I've like read somewhere that it's broken records. I'm not sure what those are. It might be that it's R-rated and it's performing really well. But on its opening weekend, it's made $60 million.
Yeah.
Which for an like not independent but an original concept film that's not part of a franchise
Yeah.
is quite rare these days, right? It's like a
incredible.
good deal.
Yeah.
And not directed by Chris Nolan, like something like that. And then Variety goes and tweets this with an article. It says Sinners has amassed 61 million in its global debut. It's a great result for an original R-rated horror film. Yet, Warner Brothers' release has a $90 million price tag before global marketing expenses, so profitability remains a ways away. So that might sound like a pretty objective, chilled headline.
Yeah.
And then Ben Stiller retweeted it and said, in what universe does a $60 million opening for an original studio movie warrant this headline? Because often when you see these headlines, they're not questioning its long-term success because it's its first weekend and it's made 2/3 of its budget back on its opening weekend.
Yeah.
It's got another run of like a month or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever.
Yeah.
to go. So the assumption is when you hear that it's going to do really well, right?
Okay.
But then all of a sudden, why question this film's success? Why question its validity long term?
Yeah.
And you just read that and you're like, there's only one reason, dude. It's a very African American movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the people it's made, its subject matter. And now we need to question its success. We need to question its validity. We need to like make it seem like it's not going to make it. We have to like downplay its success and not be like, fuck yeah, it made 60 million.
Yeah, go and watch it.
Yeah, go watch it. It is all over my feed.
All over. Yeah.
Have you seen like the reaction videos to that scene?
I haven't.
Everyone's
I
saying
haven't.
that scene and they're reacting with like sounds and stuff.
Which is that scene?
Dude, that
That
scene?
scene?
Come on. It's that scene. No, it's
Which
when
is
the
like-
young guy's playing the blues.
Oh, okay. When they scroll, when they go
Yes.
around the room.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Okay. So Sinners is the new film from Ryan Coogler, who we all know from Black Panther, but has done a whole bunch of stuff before that. A lot of which I've missed.
Same.
A lot of people quoted Fruitvale Station, which I've never seen. But this is a nice, big, bold swing, something Graham loves when we talk about the big swings. And what it is it's a film set in the 1930s in the deep south of America in Mississippi, where two gangster brothers, two twins, the Smokestack twins,
Yeah,
one of
one's
which
Smoke.
is Smoke and the other one's Stack, both of which are played by Michael B. Jordan.
Imagine if your name was Stack.
Sick.
It's badass.
I'd
so
imagine
sick.
it's all nicknames, but it's cool. They return back to their hometown, and the whole film is set over the course of this one night as they plan to open up their own place, their own juke joint. So it's effectively a sort of live music venue bar. And as the night sets in, so does this evil arrive, both literally and figuratively, at their door. And this movie takes this kind of turn. I think we can speak quite clearly about it now. Last week, Graham found this was a spoiler, so he added in the spoiler alert, which he's very welcome to do, especially if from an objective listener he was
Yeah.
like, "Shit, I don't want to."
Right.
I think this is a spoiler, but we can get into it now. The movie is a vampire movie, and it turns into this vampire movie as these vampires arrive at the door. And slowly over the course of the night, things go
Yeah.
south,
So south,
even
dude.
further south than where they are.
Mississippi.
Great.
But it's just to then speak contextually about it. It manages to be, and I've said this before, and I just want to repeat it. It manages to be this very rich cultural document and something that can stand along other important Black cinema and stories, the likes of which are, the Toni Morrisons in literature and The Color Purple, and just these films that help paint a picture of what life was like for Black people, specifically at that time when the Ku Klux Klan was still very rife, so racism in America wasn't great. There was a search for Black identity and celebration of their own. You still got cultural things coming in terms of your legacy of slavery, and with that the African mysticism
The voodoo
and magicalness and the voodoo. So it can be all of that and then a popcorn movie where
Yes.
you've got these lovely jump scares, you've got all sorts of cool sort of moments.
And great action. And I struggle with action. It makes me so sleepy. But this time I was like, oh my God.
I love how action makes you
It
sleepy.
makes me so sleepy.
That's funny. Don't watch a working man. Actually, if you want to go to sleep,
Watch Working Man.
Thank
watch
you.
a working man. It'll
No,
be,
but then that moon will appear, and then you'll wake up and be like, "Why the fuck is the moon so big?"
so yeah, and I think let's just hear from you guys because
Ooh,
I've
yeah.
spoken a bit about it. What did you enjoy?
I mean, I loved it. I went in completely blind. So we didn't watch trailers. We didn't know anything about it. You just were like on the group, hey, you're going to love this. Come
Yeah.
through. So we came through completely blind. And when I saw like the little, the banner that they had, I was like, I wonder like what's this going to be about, Because it doesn't give you a lot. We watched the trailer afterwards and I thought the trailer was brilliant because it doesn't as well. It doesn't give you like we could recognize every single scene. And the way that they compiled it, I thought was really smart because it doesn't give away, oh, this is a vampire movie, which I thought was really awesome. But I was especially blown away by the soundtrack. I thought that soundtrack was brilliant. Like afterwards, I was like, oh my goodness, I need to find this on Spotify now because I love me some blues.
The next layer of this movie, the next layer to enjoy is it's actually this kind of celebration of the blues.
It's amazing.
And it's the celebration of the idea that music can just be so much more. And it's born out of these things, and that it sets it up in the trailer and in the very start of the movie that there are these people that are able to channel something else.
Yeah.
That's the setup.
And travel through time, and it's beautiful.
Through this music, one can pierce a hole in the universe and you can travel through time.
It's beautiful.
And so when we speak of the scene, there's a moment where in this juke joint, as the night starts taking hold, one of our main characters, who's this very talented blues guitarist, starts playing. And there's a point where I was lucky enough to have Perrin, one of our video store workers, here next to me, and I just leaned over to him and I was like, things get interesting now. Like, this is when shit gets interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's when you start breaking this barrier. And you
Yeah.
start going through time. And I don't want to give much more away.
No,
but
it's magic.
It's a bold swing. It's this moment where you realize, like, there's just so much more to the universe and time.
Yeah.
And, I'm obsessed with that. I'm obsessed with time. I'm
It's
obsessed
so
with
beautiful.
sort of-
Yes.
oh,
I think
So-
that's what I loved about it the most, is that, like we're saying, it's a popcorn movie and it's really entertaining as a
Yeah.
popcorn movie because it subverts itself. It like does a psycho thing where halfway through something changes and you're like, what the fuck? I thought this was a different movie.
Yeah.
And then when that happens, it's still got layers of subtext that get added and added and added. And then it starts to like build this really complex thematic statements. And I read something into the movie and I was like, am I thinking too much about this? Surely I am. And then one of my favorite critics is a guy named J. Cole. And I read his Vulture article and he was like, I identified the same thing. So I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. I like saw it.
Yeah.
and what is that?
It's that, so the film injects a little bit, like you're saying, there's magical realism in it, right? Where it leans into the mysticism and the spirituality from the continent, right? And like it talks about ancestry and accessing who your culture is, what your culture is, and who you are in that identity, right? And this boy accesses that through his music. So he's like this prodigious blues player, but it's not just that he's good. It's spiritual. He can
Yeah.
access something that other people can't access.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And I think
it roots that, because people always talk about, like, oh, Jimmy Page is a genius, or
Right.
whoever
Yeah.
drummer, he's a genius, and you sort of like, no one can quite articulate that.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
sometimes it's a bit silly to sort of say that.
Yeah, it kind of diminishes it, right?
It diminishes it a bit, but
Yes.
this gives it some explanation.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's
It's like, this is
it's-
why he has this power.
it's
through
very
his music.
poetic, but it just shows you that in a lot of these musicians comes this energy that they can harness, and that when everything is right, they can open up this kind of figurative
Yes.
portal.
I mean, does that like also relate to here in South Africa with like sangomas and a calling? You know, it's like a connection to your ancestors that only certain people get, this
Right.
calling, you know.
Right.
And it is,
Exactly.
as music is a very much a big part of it as well, you know,
Yes.
to communicate
Yes.
at that next level, which is quite beautiful.
Yeah,
And I
no,
think
it's lovely.
Exciting.
then there's that. And then the next bit gets added.
Yeah.
And it's that there are vampires.
Yeah.
And they're not just vampires, they're white vampires.
Yeah, they
the-
start
Yeah.
out white. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
And that whiteness is very much linked to the time with like the Ku Klux Klan. And it's like, it's playing in the same space where there's an invasion that's happening, right? Where there's a
Yeah.
sacred space that black people have.
Yeah.
And then white people want to have access to it. So,
and the way that it's introduced is great, because those vampires, which are white people, need to be invited in, and they
Yeah.
say, why can't we all get along? And we've got money to spend. Meanwhile, they've got
Ulterior motive.
know what their motive
they've got
is,
an
right?
evil motive, which is that they want to, turn
exactly.
the others
Feast on
into.
this hall full of people.
Yeah.
But then also, if we unpack it a little bit more, sorry to be this
No,
guy.
No,
Let's
that's
go.
literally that's
This
what
is
your
why we're
job
here.
is
Let's go.
behind this counter. Yeah.
We vampirism is also in the way that the film positions it, which I don't know if it's happened before. I know there's like a hive mind thing with like being linked to the first vampire or something,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's been treated as a hive mind in the way that it has here, where you have access to everyone's memories and
Yeah.
that, like, for example, he knows the one guy's Ku Klux Klan uncle is going to come back and kill the two owners, right? He can access his memories. So what he wants to do is he wants to access the ability of our prodigious little blues player, right?
Yeah.
And like, why does he want to do that? Why does a white guy want to access that? What does he not have that this guy has, and why is he envious of it? Why does he desire it so strongly, right? And there's something to be said about him being an Irish immigrant, right? And also having a disconnect from his homeland. There's something there. But I think fundamentally, the film is very deliberate about drawing clear lines, using this time and the epoch to say, like, whiteness is operating in this space where it's kind of not obvious. It's not the obvious kind of Jim Crow era racism that we've seen in movies. It's very subtle.
Yeah.
We know it's there. It's
Yeah.
like the white guy on the horse while the prisoners are digging on the side of the road. It's just
Yeah.
like, but they're moving around. The smoke stack twins are moving around this place as if they like own it, right? It's
Yeah.
like their home. But you get the impression that this can turn in a second. It's not a safe space at all for them.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's all of these different ways in which he accesses that makes you think about how I think very much whiteness co-opts black excellence throughout musical history, because he identifies all the watershed moments that black people changed music, right? And it often is a black musician. It's Robert Johnson with the blues, which is arguably the most like influential change in music of the 20th century. There's the Fats Dominoes of rock and roll that Elvis stole,
Yeah.
right? That
totally.
didn't belong to him.
Yeah.
There's hip hop.
Well, yeah.
There's
I
all
mean,
these
stole
genres.
is dramatic, but like, I know what you mean.
Yes.
He took it certainly, and once introduced to a white audience, became famous.
Yeah, exactly. No. So I think it's that. I think it's like it's playing on these themes. So it's like you can just enjoy it as a popcorn movie.
You can totally. Yeah.
But then, like, the more you sit and think about why vampires? Why
Yeah.
vampires? Why couldn't it be something else?
yeah.
It's like these choices are so deliberate and
it-
well crafted.
Yeah, and here we are in 2025, where Ryan Coogler is criticized subtly
Right.
by
Variety.
the media, saying
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's good, but not.
No, it's not good enough.
It's okay.
But
yeah.
he had a very interesting deal. Do you know about the deal he struck with Warner Brothers for this film?
No.
No.
It's quite an important deal, and I don't quite know all the details of it, but it was quite landmark in the sense that what he was able to carve out in terms of his own rights and his own ability for his studio to develop any kind of spin-offs after it, what kind of money Warner Brothers gave without taking as much afterwards. It was quite an independent special deal that other filmmakers haven't been able to get, and it showed the fact that the film industry is messed and is subverted and upside down, and the big studios don't necessarily have the power anymore.
Sure.
That when a interesting, smart, celebrated director says, I want to do it entirely my way. That was one of the deals. One of the facets of the deal was like, I don't want any intervention. I want to make it entirely on my own. The studio gave him the money. Where before,
Sure.
for the last century, they were like, absolutely not. If you've got our, 100 million, we're going to control every facet of it and make sure you're in line. It was always, the power was always in the studios, because they had the resource, they had the money, but they gave him this money in a very unique deal. And a lot of folks have been saying that now that it's successful, this could mark the end of those studios being as powerful, because
Interesting.
other folks will be like, I want the same deal as Ryan.
Yes.
I don't
But
want you
I
to
think the
interfere. Just give me
difference-
the money.
The difference, I mean, like Spielberg had that after Jaws, right? He had directors' final say in the cut. From then onwards, it was his condition whenever he made movies. He was like, I get final say on the cut, not you. Because he proved himself with Jaws. And I think Coogler's proven himself with Black Panther, with Creed.
Yeah, Creed. Sorry, that was the other one. Yeah.
And I'm like, no doubts he had producer interference on Black Panther. Because Marvel and Kevin Feige, they're not going to let someone like be altruistic with their movies, right? Like famously, they fired Edgar Wright. Well, they separate because of creative differences on Ant-Man.
Yeah.
But it's because he's a strong authorial voice.
Oh, was he originally going to do Ant-Man?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
He's the original director for Ant-Man. And that's why you can see it in that speech that friend gives. It's like, this is so Edgar Wright with the whip hands and everything. You can see his blueprints on it. But it's like, I think it means that, hopefully it means that at least with Ryan Coogler, I think we have one of the best blockbuster directors of his generation, like consistently proving himself. And that means for the rest of his career, he can guarantee like his vision will be on screen.
Yeah.
Because he's proven himself now.
Yeah, but most importantly, proved himself with Black Panther. Because so often you've got these smaller indie filmmakers that then get handed these fucking huge blockbusters and they struggle because it's like, it's way too much.
Yeah, it's
You've
massive.
gone from making these like really smart independent choices, which you kind of are forced to do. Then all of a sudden you've got given every resource in the world and it's not the same boat.
No.
It's like going from like a speedboat to a cruise boat. It's like they're completely different boats, literally.
Yeah, and you have this giant machine bearing down on you that's saying... It's funny, I just watched an interview with David Fincher this morning where it was the only time since Alien 3 he's spoken about Alien 3 in an interview.
Okay.
He said he made the mistake of saying, okay, cool, give me the money, but yeah, sure thing, I'll do it your way. To the studios, which means they said to him, you're not going to work with any of your friends, you're going to work with people who have done this 100 times before, which meant that he was this young kid on set and all the experienced older guys were just like, you don't know what you're doing, I'm not going to listen to you. And that was his, what did he say? And then I proceeded to be ritualistically sodomized for 2 years on Alien 3. And because I said yes to that. And then he thought he was never going to work in film again after that because it was such a failure. And then someone sent in the script for 7.
Can I tell you what that's triggering?
What?
When I moved the bioscope from Maboneng to 44 Stanley, I was standing around with these group of dudes planning the construction.
Yeah.
And there was this older bully who was the electrician, and he wasn't talking to me. He wasn't ever looking to me. He was looking to the guy, Kuhn, your friend.
Yes, my friend.
Cole put me in touch with a guy who specializes in creating cinemas. It's more private cinemas in people's homes, but he was the perfect guy for the job to help build the bioscope cinema.
Yeah.
And this fucking electrician dude was saying like, well, what do they want? What do they... And I was like, I'm they.
I'm the they, buddy.
They's me. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, shame.
Just so triggering that it was like,
so annoying.
I couldn't...
When you're just being
I couldn't be
ignored.
the owner. And it was like, I'm the dude.
Shame.
Ask me what I want.
Yeah, no, and he cocked some things up. He made certain decisions that annoyed me, but we fixed them.
Yeah.
But it's funny being undervalued.
Yeah.
But yeah, any other lovely sort of points or things to bring up about Sinners?
So I have decided after watching it, I thought it was so cute. This is separate to story and whatever, but it's so cute. He's got this, his like, when one of the characters becomes a vampire, I don't know if this is too much of a spoiler, but his gold tooth turns into a gold fang. And I have decided
amazing.
I've got this like awkward orc tooth at the bottom. And I've decided to
So
give
you
it a
call it-
little a little like gold cap for
So you call it an orc fan?
my little orc tooth.
Oh, cute.
So I think I'm gonna give it a little gold cap after watching Sinners.
Oh, that is so
I thought
cool.
It was cute.
That's a good idea. I love that.
In the early days of the bioscope, we were able to screen the film Let the Right One In, which I thought, this is a little deep cut. But in terms of like interesting, different vampire movies,
Yeah.
It's one of the best.
it's one of the better ones.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
no.
it's Finnish. So imagine that Finnish winter where it's cold and it's dark
Yeah.
and this.
Oh, it's miserable.
But it's very interesting because your main character is a little girl.
Yeah.
She's actually quite a sweet little girl,
Yeah.
which our main character, who's a young boy, befriends.
Mm.
But she needs to be let in. So she's at the window. She's at the door.
Yeah.
But she has to also feast. She has to eat. She has to drink blood to survive.
Yeah.
So you love her and root for her, but you also know that she is a vampire. But
Yeah.
it presents it very at arm's length. It's not this kind of big, gory, what.
And the reason why that film is so good is the way you're articulating it now is really good because it does feel like this small little intimate character drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like quiet and it's soft and it's delicate. And then all of a sudden she fucking mauls these guys.
Oh,
and you're just
man.
like, Jesus. Because it's like a genre hop
Yeah.
out of nowhere that you don't expect. And that's why
Yeah.
it's so scary. But don't confuse it for the American remake.
Yes.
Okay.
Let Me In with Chloe Grace Moretz,
Okay.
which I haven't seen. So I can't speak to its quality, but it's not the finished
You
version.
never get you get the feeling that it's never quite the same. It's the same with Japanese horrors being adapted. It's like
Yes.
there's something odd and weird about it being Finnish and being this kind of otherworldly from another part of the
Yes.
world where it just gets dark and stays dark for so long.
Does anyone know what the origin is with vampires and the invite only kind of thing?
I don't know
No.
anything about it, but it's also what's nice is that it is just part of this
It's
collective
the law, yeah.
law that we know that vampires, for those who don't understand what we're talking about, one of the main fundamentals of a vampire is that they have to be let in,
Invited, yeah.
invited into a room. Otherwise, they literally just can't get in.
It didn't happen in Dracula in the book.
Mm.
Yeah,
Did it?
he doesn't
Yeah,
have
you've
to. He
read it.
doesn't have to get permission to enter.
Mm.
That's why they're so obsessed with like putting garlic all over a room to make sure that she's safe.
Yeah, garlic is the repellent, a wooden stake. So
silver.
we like know these things, which
Yeah.
is very cool.
Quite heavy topic, but I had a client who wanted to get some sort of vampire tattoo, and we've started her back piece, but she's a history teacher.
Okay.
And so she did some research into, we were going to do a Nosferatu, and we did some research into vampires, and she went down on she's a history teacher, went down on a big deep dive and found out that Nosferatu was anti-Semitic propaganda.
What?
So we didn't end up doing that. We ended up doing we did a female vampire. I can't remember her name right now, but we didn't end up doing that. And then I had another client who wanted Nosferatu, and I was like, just so you know, you could do your own research. But we found out that,
Shit.
yeah.
I mean, that makes
So
a
we
lot
ended
of
up doing
sense.
Vlad the Impaler instead, who is also fucked up. But,
Yeah, exactly, but for different reasons.
yeah.
But you
That
probably
is so hectic.
Yeah.
you probably find that there was just some book written somewhere or some movie that added in the can't let them in.
Yes.
And then it's just this beautiful game of broken telephone where now it's come to us and we're like, nope, you can't let the vampire in.
No.
And it's great. I just love that point where with one of the characters in Sinners where it was like, boy, you've been coming in and out all night. Why do you need my permission? You're a big man. You can walk just
You can walk
past
through
me.
the store.
It's so great.
It's so hectic because that's cool. That character was really interesting. The like voodoo lady that Stack loved.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think. Because then she came out of nowhere and was like this person that was skeptical about it. Like she saw signs.
Yeah.
Because she was the one that identified them as vampires.
Yeah.
So I wonder what
Yeah,
the
she
law
originally
was.
called them hates.
Yeah.
They're a
Right.
hate. And that's not a hate, that's a vampire.
Oh, I fucking love the idea of the Native American hunters chasing down this vampire.
Yes.
I was like,
I wish
where's
there was
that
a little
movie?
bit more,
Yeah.
on that, you know?
I must say, I really enjoyed watching it twice. So I watched it first as an exhibitor at a special exhibitor screening, walked out of there going, fuck, that was good. And then when the opportunity came to watch with you guys, also on IMAX,
Yeah.
I picked up so much more. So also appreciating, now knowing what that guy was, now knowing that the Native Americans were chasing him, that was a lovely thing to like know and appreciate when it was happening. The other great moment was when they were getting themselves ready for the night and they were in the main town. They were on the one side, and when they said, call your mom, they made a point of having the little Asian girl run across the street to go call her mom, who was on the other side of the street.
Yes.
And when I first watched that, didn't really wonder why we were doing this long, elaborate sort of one-shot pan to the other side of the street until I watched it a second time and realized that they were on the black side. And when the little Asian girl had to go fetch her mom, she was traveling to the other side of the street, which was now on second
white
watch
stores.
clearly more white. Like that had white customers.
Oh, shit.
And it was a little prettier. It wasn't as dark. It was a more well lit room.
Wow.
So it was cool to see it for the second time.
Can I ask, Russell, having
Marigold.
experienced it in IMAX and then wherever you watched it, was it a smaller screen when you watched it the first time?
It was a nice screen. It was in Hyde Park.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see that the dark in the beginning.
Yeah.
So there was a couple of moments in the broad daylight where they were in a dark room. And in my head, I was like, this is a very dark scene. And sometimes their faces were in shadows while it was still light. It was interesting to see that on IMAX, which is meant to be the most, pristine way to watch it, those were still dark.
Yeah.
So it is a dark movie.
And do you have like any comparisons? Because I know a few people have been saying like, no, I have to go watch it in IMAX. I can't watch it in any other cinema.
I don't quite think it's that movie, funny enough.
Okay.
Because it was still this kind of grainy art house film.
Yeah.
And the first half of this movie is like a sort of Oscar contender cultural drama.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an IMAX movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. The music was great in those speakers.
I know some of the points is because of the different ratios that they use.
Yes. It's like filmed in IMAX, and
Yeah.
in IMAX they very deliberately do a shift from the anamorphic aspect
No,
ratio.
but did you know what was happening
into
throughout
IMAX.
the movie? I don't think you picked it up.
What?
The movie changes aspect
Oh, yeah,
ratios
no, it's
multiple
totally-
times.
Oh
it,
yeah.
like it does the cut like Nolan does that.
the one
movies.
the one time I was like, oh my god, like I got so
Yes.
excited that
Yeah, exactly. But then
Yeah,
they actually show you
oh,
it
it's
change.
so
moves.
good.
Yeah.
It moves
It
and
was like,
changes,
oh, that's
which is
cool. That's very cool. Usually it's just the cuts.
Yeah, we got given this note when I got the film parcel, and the note was making sure that you understood that it's going to be letterboxed, which means that it's not that you needed a wider screen, it's that there will be these black bars at the top and the bottom at certain moments in the movie, because they want that, because the movie changes. It goes bigger, it goes like right at the end when he's rolling the cigarette, it becomes very wide angle. Like that, those letterbox bars are significantly wider, making it like feel more Western, more like long, and your eye like sees it differently. It's a smart movie. I don't really know other movies that do that. You say Nolan's done it.
Yeah, The Dark Knight was like I think where he started doing it. I think it's whenever there was a helicopter shot of Chicago. I mean Gotham, but
Yeah.
they're shooting Chicago. That was like on a big IMAX aspect ratio. But then it would always change afterwards to the letterbox like anamorphic crop.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you don't see that often.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Sinners out in cinemas, especially the Bioscope. No, watching that, I'm not just saying that to push Bioscope screenings. It doesn't need to be on the biggest screen possible. It's not that
It's
movie.
not it's not like an Oppenheimer or a Mission Impossible. or
Yeah,
something
no,
like.
those are on such huge, big, grand scales. Fast and the Furious, Marvel movies.
It still feels like an indie, like little intimate.
It
Most
does,
of which,
yeah.
most of which takes place very close in small spaces.
I think
It's
that's
perfect for
what
the
you're saying.
Bioscope.
That what triggered that in me, Marigold, is I was thinking about myself because I will always go watch a new release on IMAX.
Okay.
Like Graham and I have done it religiously since like 2015. We always go
I'm like,
together
I'll come
to
to
go
the
watch.
Bioscope.
Yeah, I know. I'll do it now because I like the Bioscope. But then, because the Bioscope's reliable, because there've been so many times when I've gone to a 2D Steak in a core cinema, and there's been a smudge on the lens. There's been
Yeah.
a speaker that's blown out.
Yeah.
Like there's the thing, the projection paper
Yeah.
screen
Yeah,
it's not paper. What is it? It's,
yeah, the
it's like
screen itself.
dirty and it's got
Yeah.
a tear in it, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
What's
And it's
going
happened every single time I've gone to Mon's Casino. I've had a bad experience.
Oh.
So do not go to Mon's Casino. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I don't know why every time we get premieres there, it's like Wicked was atrocious. That bulb in that projector was messed
Yeah,
because it was dull the whole movie.
yeah, that inspired me to upgrade the bulb at the Bioscope. I started with whatever I could afford,
Yeah.
and then there was this feeling of like, we've just got the one cinema. Like, it needs to be the best that it can be.
best. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But that being said, like, Sinners is dark, and people just need to realize like it is a dark.
It is a dark movie.
It is
It's
a
graded
very dark movie,
Yeah, it's high contrast.
And in the beginning, especially, like he's not lighting this like a studio film. Because that's the thing, is that he's taken the studio money in this special deal, but he said, fuck you, I'm going to light it how I want. So in this dark moment, it's dark. It's fucking pitch dark.
Awesome, yeah.
And so it's like, it's not trying to be this super glossy, perfect, perfectly lit film. It's quite dark in that sense.
So I'm bringing a troop
Good.
to the bioscope to watch it.
Yeah,
We've got a lot of people coming.
Good. No, and also to speak of its performance and its long-termness, because it's not this huge thing like a Deadpool and Wolverine that everyone sort of saw coming for months. I was always able to, or I'm getting a better sense, I think, of a film's life based on the interactions I can see happening in the lobby of the bioscope.
Oh.
And so I realized a lot of folk didn't know about Sinners, but some people did. So some people would go, oh yeah, this is cool. It was meant to be Jonathan Majors, but now it's 2 Michael B. Jordans. One or two people go, oh, well, when is the screening? And I'm like, bro, look at the poster. It tells you. It's like, you could see there was that excitement, but there was just as much people going, oh, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized this is going to be a slow burn.
Yes.
It's going to do well. So like none of the screenings this weekend sold out, but I think it's going to be consistently good. And I just need to give it more space for the fire to burn.
Are there going to be more screenings at the bioscope?
Oh yeah, no, I'm going to keep going, and we're going to play that soundtrack and other blues stuff. I mean, my head was even going to like, you could have a dude at the door, and it could be this like juke joint, and you can transform the lobby.
Well, that's the best part about the bioscope.
You can play on that, and you can play on like the fact that for this night the bioscope's turning into
a little saloon vibe
to the juke joint. And like, no, there's a lot that you can do with it, which is cool. So yeah, very very excited to just keep giving it space and just letting it shine. Where some of the other movies like Nosferatu was palpable. There was desperation to watch it.
Yes.
Over December. So so I just needed to fucking just make the screening. So the moment it got approved, I had a whole weekend stacked, ready to go. And of course the whole thing sold out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like that was different because it was like that was there. But
I had some friends come and watched, and they all dressed up, and it was very cute.
No, and this is the future of cinema for me. I'm so grateful that, just to maybe end on this note, is that the future is between the bioscopes and the IMAXs. You go to the IMAX for that optimal fucking $1 million experience. You know? Multiple millions have gone into the making of this room.
Yeah.
It should not have
a smudge on
the lens. But the bioscope is for the dress ups. It's for that ambiance. It's for that like
and to have a bourbon while you watch your
movie. No, of course. Yeah, we got Buffalo Trace. We got a very cool cocktail which we named the Timothy Chalamet. Yeah, it was apparently Bob Dylan. It was inspired by a cocktail Bob Dylan liked, which is effectively a whiskey sour, but it's with bourbon. So I know you want to drink that. You want to listen to blues.
Yeah.
Shout out to our friend Vash, who said he listened to blues all the way home. Are there any other shows? Any other things to mention? What can you tell us?
Last of Us.
Okay.
Season 2.
We're going to talk about this.
Have you started?
So yesterday, from the morning, my boyfriend Klaus hasn't seen any of Last of Us. We watched the entire first season yesterday.
Oh, God.
Easter Monday. And I started season 2, episode 1. I haven't seen the new episode. I've been told to stay away from social media because of it.
Everyone's losing their mind.
Everyone's going crazy.
Yeah, there's a big old swing in episode
something
2.
Happens.
Yeah.
Something big happens.
I don't know.
It's a plot twist, apparently.
Yeah. And that's what's on my radar.
Scary.
And then new Black Mirror as well.
Oh,
yes.
right. Yeah, I've been missing this.
Which I haven't seen either.
Yeah, I've started the first one, the one with Rashida Jones in it. And I stopped moments before I knew it was going to get really dark.
Okay.
Like, get a little fucked up. No, there's just a point where I was like, this is still too early in the day. I'm not quite ready for
Okay.
this. But something interesting has happened with one of the Black Mirror episodes where I think people have been served different versions of it.
Okay, interesting.
Something along those lines. And it's purposefully designed to like fuck with you, to like mess with you,
Is it
which
like?
I think is interesting.
Do you think it's like different countries or different like Netflix accounts?
I'm not entirely sure.
Oh.
But there is something along those lines.
There-
Because Perrin, quickly before we started Sinners, we were talking about Black Mirror. He's like, episode 1's amazing. Episode 2, dog shit. Episode 3, whichever it was. I don't remember whether it was literally episode 2. But he was like, there was one that he was like, he hated.
Yeah.
And then I saw this article, which was that they kind of purposefully fucked with you on the one.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those girls
I
are
think
crazy.
It's very interesting. I love it when those kinds of things happen. Where it's like it's purposefully done to mess with you.
They're so
there's,
great.
There's a lot of good stuff on.
There is.
Also, yesterday, Andor season 2 released on Disney Plus.
Okay.
So we've got The Last of Us, we've got Andor, we've got Black Mirror, and I still haven't watched White Lotus season 3.
I haven't watched the last episode. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
And
I'm like still trudging my way through Severance season 2. I'm like,
I haven't watched any Severance. Like,
it's so hard to keep up.
there's so much good stuff
There's
coming
so much.
out.
I started White Lotus just to get a sense of the characters,
Yeah.
just so that I could feel like I was a part of the conversation,
Okay, cool.
just to get a sense of it. But I don't know whether I have the anxiety levels to handle.
Yeah, if it's anything like
White
season
Lotus.
2, dude.
It's I would say that this, in my opinion, up until like now, and I still have to watch the last episode, it's been quite slow and a
Yeah.
little bit boring.
And people
here
have,
and there.
people have said that like we're 4 episodes in and nothing's happened.
Like, it's quite boring.
but people are like in it because they kind
It's
of
White Lotus.
It's White Lotus, and they know the.
Yeah, what's the scandal? Where's
Like,
the trouble brewing?
There's a little bit of chaos towards the end, but it's not nearly, I would, in my personal opinion, say it nearly as like hectic as the previous seasons.
It's not like season 2 that just started escalating
Yeah.
so hard. And
Yeah.
you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But apparently Walter Goggins in season 3 is bringing back the receding hairline.
Yes, I've been seeing.
Women are
People are-
finding that attractive.
I was like,
I've
oh,
been seeing.
okay.
And
Got little
shame.
moments.
What is that beautiful actress from
Amy,
Sex?
Amy Lou Wood.
Yeah. Shame getting the SNL skit, and she was very offended by
I
it.
saw something
yeah.
about that.
Did you watch the skit?
I didn't, but I mean, she does pull this funny face throughout the whole season, and they really they make poke fun at that expression she pulls.
Well, she
Honestly,
sort of
like-
very clearly has the buck teeth,
yeah,
which she was being celebrated for
she's
the most
gorgeous,
part.
yeah.
And there was a lovely narrative around season 3 being so successful, where she was like, "Yeah,
just
these
authentically her. You
these
know?
have done me well." There was bound to be something that
Of
mocked
course,
her.
yeah,
But yeah, hopefully it all just blows over.
yeah,
But yeah, she will always have the buck teeth. She should.
yeah.
totally.
Keep them.
It was
Yeah.
lovely listening to the What Went Wrong episode about Dirty Dancing, where Jennifer Grey was given so much criticism about her nose from other people. And she actually famously thought it was fine. Quite soon after Dirty Dancing, because so many agents and people had said you'd get more, she got her nose changed. And then there was public backlash saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, you shouldn't have."
Oh,
And
you
her
can never
career-
win, dude.
And her career was never the same again.
Yeah,
You can never
sad.
win.
But the takeaway is be you.
Yeah,
Yeah, be you guys.
Actually, don't listen to these agents or these people who are making fun of you because they think they know what's right, but your
I mean,
success
you're
is
getting
because of
booked
your
for you. Yeah.
your
Yeah.
uniqueness. So, yeah,
Sure.
interesting. All right, Magic guys. Thank you for the chat.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks for the lovely episode. And of course, Sinners is out there.
Yes.
We've been talking at length about it, but it really is something special. So if you are in Joburg, please consider the Bioscope. Otherwise, certainly go out and have a watch wherever you can. And we'll see you guys again soon. We've got so many public holidays. I haven't quite done the maths as to whether or not we can execute another episode next week because of all these public holidays. But we will certainly always be doing our best. Otherwise, we will see you when we see you because we also need our breaks too, and also chaos and busyness happens all the time. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure that we can do one next week, But bear with us after all these public holiday chaoses. Normality will continue. All right. Thank you, guys. Home base is thevideostore.co.za. Let us know what you think about Sinners. Let us know what you think about all these shows and Last of Us and White Lotus. Let's chat over there. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.